What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, Episode 8, Love, Sweat, and Tears. Let's talk about Mark and Mina. Mina, you're not just dealing with one snake, you are in a whole entire snake pit with Mark and his family because nobody in his family sees it for you at all whatsoever. I don't care how sweet the grandmother sounded. The grandmother is working for Jordan. The uncle is definitely working for Jordan. Everybody's working for Jordan. And none of these people see it for you. Now, that one black chick that's in the family, the other black woman that's in this family, I'm beginning to kind of question her. I'm beginning to question her as well because I'm like, how come in this whole entire 2 episode scene at the family home, we have not seen the black girl talk to Mina and try to give her some words of advice or words of comfort? Like, who is she? Why isn't she helping Mina? Anyway, let's get into it. So we are at the scene where Mina had walked away from the family after Jordan had brought up the prenup, and Mark wasn't really like defending Mina. So Mina was like, Mark, you think I'm for your money too? You think I'm with you for your money too? And then she walks away. And so she's crying, she's distressed. And I feel so bad for Mina because she's in this all by herself. So when Mina walks away, Mark does tell his family that they shouldn't all gang up on her because he knows how his family, how they get down and how they are. So he knows it's going to be like 10 against 1 type of situation. So he tells his family, look, y'all need to kind of lay off on her a little bit. Don't all gang up on her. So he goes to check on her and she tells him, Mark, why didn't you stand up for me in front of your family? And Mark was like, well, I did after you left. Honey, it's too little too late, Mark. She needs you to stand up for her while she's up against this whole entire firing squad. She needs you to stand up for her like right then and there. Not after you've thought about it and after she's walked away. So his mother, because the family tells his mom, you have a little bit, better bedside manner than anybody else here. So why don't you go talk to Mina and see, if you can calm her down. 1 second, y'all. So they tell the grandmother, go check on her. I thought the grandmother was going to go check on Mina. I had no idea that the grandmother was just going to use her tools of manipulation to try to get Mina to listen to Jordan. So she goes over there to talk to Mina. Next thing you know, she's asking Mina, are you willing to talk to Jordan? And Mina doesn't want to be rude to this old lady. So she's like, yeah, but I know deep down in her heart, she wants to be like, no, I really don't want to talk to that snake anymore. But she tells her soon to be mother-in-law, yes, I'm willing to talk to Jordan. So Jordan comes to talk to her. And Jordan is like the rudest, most entitled, spoiled brat that I've ever seen in my life. Because instead of her approaching Mina in a respectful manner and being apologetic, because you're the one that brought up the prenup, you're the one that's dictating to Mina and Mark if they should have children. You're the one that's trying to manipulate your father, basically to kind of like low key, leave Mina, but you're going to approach her all aggressive. And the first thing out of her mouth was, I hope you don't think I'm a snake. I hope you don't really think that I'm a snake. And I'm like, there's no, I'm sorry. There's no, how are you doing? Because, poor Mina walked away crying. There's no, it was just aggression from the get go. So the first thing out of her mouth is, I hope you don't think I'm a snake. Well, why don't you sit back and think for a while, Jordan? Why would she call you a snake? Like, where does that come from? Don't you want to know why she would say that to you? Like, where does that come from? Somebody calling you a snake? You want to get to the bottom of that? There's a reason why this woman called you a snake. You being really two-faced, acting like everything is hunky-dory in her face, but then talking crap about her behind her back, and then trying to convince Mark to not have any more children with her, and then, encouraging your father to sign a prenup because for sure, Jordan, you want her to get nothing out of this marriage if this marriage should ever end. You want Mina to walk away absolutely penniless and as poor as she was when she walked into this marriage. That is what you want. That is what you want solidified in that prenup, that she gets zero, no matter how much she goes through being married to Mark, no matter how much she goes through dealing with y'all, no matter what No matter how much she puts into the marriage, you want to make sure that she walks away from your dad with absolutely nothing. Her and Maria and any other children they may or may not have. You want them all to walk away from this with absolutely nothing. And then you wonder why she's calling you a snake. So Jordan then shocked me even more. Okay, she shocked me the first time by saying, "Why did you call me a snake?" And then she shocked me again when she said, "Aren't you going to apologize?" And I was like, whoa, whoa, what? You need to apologize to her for embarrassing this woman in front of your whole family by bringing up the prenup. That is something that is personal and private, strictly between Mark and Mina. It's got nothing to do with you. And so, her first time meeting Mark's entire family, you want to bring up this disgusting issue of a prenup. So then she asked me, "So, aren't you going to apologize to me?" And unfortunately, I guess Mina was so exhausted and tired at this point. She was just like, "Okay, yeah, girl, I'm gonna give it to you." And she apologized and she said she was sorry. Jordan looks at her grandmother like, what now? In her Azalea Banks voice. Like, what now? And the grandmother then turns to Mina and says, is Jordan invited to the wedding? And Mina once again gives in to this really aggressive family and says yes again. Really, Mina should say, yeah, she's invited to the wedding. In fact, she's invited. She can stand right next to your dad in front of the officiant because I for sure as hell won't be there. And the way that you're so wrapped up and concerned about your dad's life and what he's doing, maybe you should be the one to marry him. And I'm going to disinvite or uninvite myself from the wedding. And the two of y'all can run off into the sunset together because it's just really weird and strange that you, the daughter, is so invested in your father's love life. Okay, it makes me wonder, like, do you feel like you're missing out on something? I mean, are you jealous of anybody that he's like, what the hell is going on here? So Jordan then gives a very insincere apology to Mina by saying, well, I'm sorry if I've offended you. You know, the most basic, most insincere, most fake apology that anybody could ever say. I'm sorry if anything I've ever said or done has offended you. You're not even specifically like saying what you're apologizing for. You know, a real apology would have been, well, I'm sorry for meddling too much into your personal life with my dad. I'm sorry for trying to dictate how many children you can have with my dad. I'm sorry for forcing you to sign a contract that may not be in your best interest. You know, say exactly what you're sorry for, not some general generic apology. I'm sorry if I've offended you. Everybody offends everybody all the time. So that apology can kick rocks. So Jordan tells her dad, she goes back to her dad and she tells her dad that, okay, dad, you know, we've apologized and we're in a good place now. Everything is fine, which is total bullcrap. Everything is not fine because Mina is obviously still hurt. So Mina tells us in her confessional that the only reason why that she had agreed to the prenup was because she was feeling so much pressure from the family and she just wanted them to get off her back. So when she's alone with Mark, she tells Mark, oh, by the way, you know how I said that I was going to sign that prenup in front of your family? Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to sign the prenup. That's not going to be happening. And Mark gets frustrated. He's like, oh my God, Mina, so we're back to square one again. And he's worried about his family getting on his case if she does not sign the prenup. And what I wanted, I was like yelling into my TV, Mina, a prenup is a two-way street, honey. Two can play the prenup game. You can also make sure that you are well taken care of in that prenup as well. Take that prenup to an attorney, okay, who's going to represent you, who's going to have a French translator so that you understand everything that's going on. Take that prenup to an attorney and make sure that your best interest is covered as well, like after so many years of marriage. Because it's one thing if you end up leaving him or whatever after a year or two, okay, granted. But like if you put in 10, 15, 20 years of your life into this marriage, and you've done so much to help him. What if he becomes like an invalid or something and you have to take care of him? You have to change his diapers. You have to wipe off his drool. Where do you have to be his constant caretaker? And then for whatever reason, you know, he gets his senses back or whatever, and he wants to divorce you. You're going to walk away with nothing after all of that? You don't know what could happen in the future. So if it's going to be like, if you can stick it out for 10, 15, 20 years, you make sure that that prenup benefits you as well. A prenup is a two-way street, honey. Two can play the prenup game. Please get you an attorney. If you're going to sign the prenup, please get you an attorney to make sure that your best interest is covered as well, and that you also walk away with something, because it's not fair that he takes even okay. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. Even though Mina and Mark, it's very transactional. It's like, one of those, typical May December type of situations. He's a guy with he's an older man with a lot of money who wanted a trophy wife. That's basically what it comes down to. And these young black girls have got this man like tripping. I mean, this man is so turned around when he's with the young attractive black woman, because his family gets very, very nervous, and his daughter feels like, my dad's about to lose his mind because he got himself another pretty young black woman, so let me step in and protect my dad. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. Okay, so May, December. Okay, even though it is clearly like transactional, that's what I'm thinking. When they got together, when Mark and Mina got together, she saw a man with money, he saw a trophy wife. Okay, that's why they got together. I don't know if they love each other, if they have feelings for one another. I kind of doubt it, but whatever. Even though it may be transactional, she is still putting in work, because every time that we have seen Mina, and we're on episode 8, she's crying. She's putting up with the humiliation. She's putting up with the embarrassment of his family. She's putting up with the man who can't decide, what's going on or what to do without his family telling him what to do. Even though he's a grown man who has a child, he's got children. He has a baby with you. He's out here making all these children, but he's acting like he doesn't know what the hell is going on. You are going through it. Even though it's transactional, you're not just sitting at home eating bonbons and watching the stories. You're going through it with this man because his family is putting you through it. So you deserve something out of this marriage as well, if it should ever end, Mina. Let's move on to the throuple. Okay, y'all, the throuple gets on my damn nerves. I don't know if these people are paid actors. I don't know if this is real. I don't know what's going on, but they're getting on my nerves because of the fact that what they argued about today to me was so silly and so stupid. Okay, so it's the day after they set their little throuple boundaries, okay, of the do's and don'ts of their relationship. And Amani does tell us that it seems like she's constantly trying to find the the equilibrium or the equality in this whole entire relationship, because she feels like Ani and Matt are a lot closer than her and Ani. So she feels like, kind of a little bit left out. So she's constantly like fighting for her place in this throuple. So they go to a winery, and Amani asked Ani, why didn't she tell her family? Because Ani told her family that Matt was her boyfriend and and Amani was just her friend. So Amani asked Ani at the winery, well, why didn't you tell your family? Because it seems like her family doesn't have a problem with same-sex relationships. So she asked her, why didn't you tell your family that me and you are in the relationship, that I'm your girlfriend, and that Matt is just a friend? And Ani really couldn't give an answer to that. I don't know exactly what she said, but I don't think she gave like a really good answer to that. And she did tell her, I am going to tell them that you're my girlfriend. I am going to tell them that. So then Matt asked if she's going to tell her family the full story of what they all are to each other before they actually meet her family. And Ani said no. And in her confessional, Ani kept telling us that she wants to do things in her way, in her own time. So how she tells her family is strictly like her business. She doesn't want nobody to pressure her to do anything that she's not ready to do. So she's going to tell her family what she wants to tell them when she's ready to tell them. And so then Amani then asked if she has told anybody that she is in a serious committed relationship, and Ani said no. So then Amani becomes absolutely unhinged. She's like, I don't know, because she feels as if Ani has not told anybody that she's in a serious relationship with Matt and her, then it seems like Ani is not serious about them. Which makes me think that is it possible Amani and Matt have been giving money to Ani because they're like, oh, this is our girlfriend and we got it like that. So we can spread the wealth. We can help her out financially because she's our girlfriend. And eventually she's going to come be with us. And now because they know that Ani hasn't told anybody about them or that she's in a serious relationship with them, now they're beginning to wonder, or maybe Amani's beginning to wonder, could it be that you're just using us? And that you're not really serious about coming back to the United States with us. You just wanted us to send you money and take care of you. I'm thinking if that's what's running through Amani's mind, and that's what made her become so unhinged. Because I didn't understand why she became so unhinged when Ani said, "No, I haven't told anybody, that I'm in a serious relationship with y'all." Because Amani ran off crying, like boo-hoo crying, as if somebody died. She was crying so hard you could hear her throughout the whole entire winery. So Ani did tell her family that she had a boyfriend and her boyfriend was Matt. So because Amani had said when she was crying that it's got nothing to do with her telling her people that she's in a throuple. It's okay that she doesn't tell them she's in a throuple, but she could at least tell them she's in a serious relationship. But I thought she did. I thought she told her family that she's with Matt and and Amani was just her friend. So Amani, you must be upset that she hasn't told her family that she's in a throuple. That must be what's bothering you, not the fact that she hasn't revealed that she's in a serious relationship. You're upset that she hasn't revealed that she's in a damn throuple and that you're included in that throuple. So, Ani and Amani at some point they get into an argument, and Ani walks away from Amani, and Amani is like yelling at her as she's chasing her down. You don't walk away from me when I'm talking to you. And then Ani whips around and says, "You don't control me. You're not my boss. Okay, you don't tell me what to do." And in her confessional, Ani made it very clear to us that she doesn't need their money and that she's fine all by herself and that she's been taking care of her family by herself, which makes me think that Amani and Matt probably were sending her money in hopes of her joining this throuple thing and coming back to California with them. And now they're beginning to think if they were just used for their money. And at the end of the day, y'all, we can't, I'm not trying to downplay strippers or sex workers or anything like that. I'm not downplaying them or minimizing what they do at all or minimizing them as people. I'm not doing that at all. But at the end of the day, they did pick up a stripper from a strip club. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why do they think that she would be so invested in them and so in love with them? They picked her from a strip club. They saw her dancing on stage. They thought she was attractive and they took her home. Anywho, so Ani doesn't want to be controlled by Amani, and she tells, I guess, to try to calm her down. Ani tells Amani, baby, I don't even care about Matt. I care about you more. I'm into you more than I'm into Matt. I'm like, it don't look like it. Ani, it don't seem like you're into Amani more than you're into Matt. It looks like you and Matt got something going on. It looks like you and Matt really like each other. It don't look like you're really into Amani. Like, what are you talking about? And I think she only said that so that Amani can calm the hell down and stop yelling at her. So I just wonder, and like, that's another thing. If you're really into Amani more than you are into Matt, and your family doesn't care about you being in a same-sex relationship, then why didn't you tell your family from the get-go that Ani was your girlfriend? This is the question that Amani had asked. Why didn't you tell them from the get-go that Amani was your girlfriend and Matt was just a friend? If you're into her like that, and you're into her more than you are into Matt. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Moving on to Shawn and Aaliyah. So it's the next day and it's in the morning and Shawn's dog comes into their bedroom and he gets on the bed. And I was shocked that Aaliyah didn't freak out that the dog was in the bed with them because Aaliyah is a serious germaphobe. She's a germaphobe times 10. And so with the dog being in the bed, I thought she was going to freak out, but she didn't. So she goes into the bathroom to brush her teeth and she sees that her toothbrush was on the little shelf that's above the sink. And she takes the toothbrush and she goes back into the bedroom and she says to Shawn, my toothbrush was just out and exposed in the bathroom. So whenever the toilet flushes, all of the bacteria and the germs, and all of that is like landing on my toothbrush. I can't use this. I need a new toothbrush. So fine. They go to the store to get a new toothbrush and some other essentials. And while they're there, they also pick up an at home HIV kit. And so then Shawn begins to tell us that Aaliyah is extremely paranoid about becoming HIV positive. Number one, she's in an open relationship with Shawn. So as long as they were long distance, Shawn was with other people as well. Then whenever he would come visit her in Brazil, he would also sleep with her. I'm assuming unprotected. And so Aaliyah is like very paranoid about catching, of becoming HIV positive. And so she would test every single month. She would test. And then he tells us that, um, she would also test herself if she got her nails done, and then like if she got her nails or her finger nicked at the nail salon. She would test herself. If she was at the gym and like accidentally scraped herself, like scraped her knee or something, she would test immediately. Like she's that paranoid about contracting HIV. So my question is this: now that if she's that paranoid about contracting HIV, was she practicing safe sex with Shawn? Or was she just going by his word that he was practicing safe sex with his other partners? Because if she was that paranoid and that much of a germaphobe, I'm thinking that she would make use a condom each and every single time. So I don't know. So later on, they have a conversation about monogamy. And Aaliyah's like, well, now that I'm here in the United States, are you going to be monogamous? And Shawn says, as long as I'm sexually satisfied, I will remain monogamous. And so then Aaliyah says, well, my body is going to be constantly changing because I guess she still wants to get work done on herself as she transitions. And so she asks Shawn, I'm gonna be getting more surgeries. My body's still changing. I'm still trying to, achieve a certain type of look because she wants her butt bigger to make her more curvaceous, and there's a possibility of gender reassignment surgery in the future. A possibility. She didn't say she was gonna get it, but Shawn said that that's a possibility. And so when Aaliyah asked him, how are you going to feel when I continue to change my body? Shawn was basically like, well, TBD. That's to be determined at a later date. I don't know what to tell you right now. And Shawn is like, like if she were to get gender reassignment, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. He said, that is so out of my realm. He said that it was so out of his wheelhouse. It's something that's not even in he never like conjectured anything like this of being with someone who would want to get gender reassignment surgery to become a woman. And so, yeah, it's basically TBD as far as Shawn is concerned. Every time I see Shawn and Aaliyah, I keep thinking to myself, Shawn, why are you even marrying Aaliyah? Why don't y'all just continue to date? But then again, they wouldn't be able to because how would she be able to stay in the United States if she didn't have a spousal visa? But she's a licensed nurse in Brazil. I don't know why she apply for like a work visa or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. And Shawn has always appeared very unhappy. Ever since they were on Love During Lockup. Lord have mercy, child. Ever since they were on 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, I think, Shawn has always seemed like he wasn't really 100% sold on Aaliyah. Like he's still processing getting used to Aaliyah. Anyway, let's move on. Maddie and Steve. So they go to the gym, and this is his first time obviously his first time in an American gym. And he talks about how he's not used to sharing a gym with women because in Iran it's not like that at all. There are no women in the gym that he attends in Iran. So he talks about that, how it's making him feel very uncomfortable. All of these scantily clad women in these super tight clothes, blah blah blah. So Maddie asked Stevie if she was attracted to women because she has all of these paintings of naked women that she paints. And Stevie felt like she didn't have to answer that. But she basically says something to him like, if you have to ask, if you feel like you really have to ask me that, I'm not going to answer it. So basically, what I gathered from that, and I could be wrong, is that she was saying to him, you should know me better. You should know better than to ask me something like that. You should know that I'm not into women, that I'm not bisexual, I'm not homosexual. You should know this. So for you to even ask, it's like, why? Why are you even asking? You should know me. And so she didn't want to answer him directly. So the producer asked him, wouldn't it have been better if he did give him a definitive answer? And she was like, no, he should know better. Stevie, this is poor communication, girl. This is really poor communication. I don't know. How would you feel if you walked into his house and you saw tons and tons of his paintings and all of his portraits are men's private parts all over the place? Like, wouldn't you question that as well, girl, sweetheart? Like, why are you making something? Why are you making a mountain out of a molehill? Just tell him. No, I'm not. What's the big deal with giving him a clear answer? He's confused because of your paintings and your obsession with boobs. He's very confused. So she shuts down the conversation. She says to him, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, so let's just stop talking about it. That's also a big no-no. He's coming to you with an issue, and you as his partner should have a discussion with him. Why is that so hard to do? Later on, they have date night, and while they're having date night, he tells her that the cost of him doing his immigration paperwork, about something about him applying for permanent citizenship, the longer it takes, the more it's going to cost him. So he says, why don't we get married within the next couple of weeks instead of waiting, a month or two? And Stevie's like, well, I don't know how I feel about that because, it's also my choice. And he's like, what do you mean it's your choice? And she says, it's my choice if I want to marry you. And she says, I don't know, if you're going to up and leave and go back to Iran. I don't feel secure that you're going to want to stay married forever. Like, you might want to go back to Iran to see your family again and they'll never see you again, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm surprised that she's still stuck on that, even after he told her that he wasn't going to go back and that he wanted to stay here. Like, he even said if things did not work out between them, he would still stay here. If he wanted to go back so badly, which I know he does, but if he had any realistic intentions of returning to Iran, then he would have said, if things don't work out between us, I would go back home. But he tells her, if you and I broke up, I would still stay here. That would be a great excuse for him to go back home if he wanted to go back home so bad. But he's like, no, I'm going to stay here even if we don't work out. So I don't know how much more reassurance she needs. And so then she says to him that whenever he talks to his parents, it makes their relationship, it puts a lot of strain on their relationship because he becomes more homesick after talking to his parents, and then he's in a bad mood. And she's just, she says she'll come home from work, she's excited to see him, she's excited to talk about her day with him, and he's in a funky mood because he just got off the phone with his parents, or he talked to his parents earlier that morning, and now he's all stressed out and sad and down in the dumps because he misses his family. And so he's like, so what do you want me to do? Not talk to my parents? And she literally told this man, I want you to talk to them less. I'm not saying to cut it off completely, but talk to them less. I was like, you're going to put up with this, Maddie? If she's not paying for that phone call, she ain't got no damn right to tell you to talk to your parents less. Like, how dare someone tell someone they claim to love, talk to your family less because it's pissing me off when I try to talk to you and you're in a bad mood because you're missing your family. I didn't agree with that at all. I didn't think that was right for her to say that, to limit how much he can talk to his family. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Stevie, you were wrong for that, girl. You were 100% wrong. If you're not paying for that phone bill, now if you're paying for that phone bill and it's a financial strain, I get it. Or if he's talking to his parents all day and all night and you can't even spend time with him because he's got the phone stuck to his ear, I get it. But if he's talking to them where you're not even there, and he said that whenever he talks to his mother, she's crying because she misses her son. Girl, no ma'am. Mm-mm. No. I don't know what else to say about that because I'm kind of speechless if somebody could tell someone else who's just arrived in America, who is trying to come to terms with the fact that they may never see their parents ever again. And you're telling him you can't talk to them as much because it's making me uncomfortable. No, I don't know what else to say, but Stevie, you were wrong for that. I need you to rethink that. Moving on to Juan and Jessica. It wasn't much going on with Juan and Jessica. It was just Jessica and her weird friend Megan. She meets up with Megan to talk to Megan about, Megan still having issues with finding out that Juan cheated on Jessica and that Jessica had already known. So this is like a double whammy for Jessica. I mean, not for Jessica. It was a double whammy for Megan because number one, she didn't know, didn't have confirmation that Juan cheated. And number two, she had no idea that Jessica knew this whole time that Juan had cheated. So she's like, still trying to accept all of this. And so Jessica wants to have a conversation with her about it and let her know, hey, you're my friend, you're my girl, and I want you to be at my wedding. But if you can't support my wedding, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so Megan is like, well, I'm still trying to process all of this. Jessica tells us in her confessional that Megan, she is Megan's only friend. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Megan is weird as hell to be taking someone else's relationship this personally. And acting like, well, I don't know if I can ever trust Juan. And, girl, that's the problem when you get too invested in your friends' relationships. Okay, let it go, Megan. I don't know what else to tell you. Get therapy or let it go. Get therapy or let it go. Because it's just weird that you're allowing your friend's relationship affect you this damn much. Sarper and Shekinah. So with Sarper and Shekinah, Shekinah is at that point now where she really wants her daughter Sophia to meet Sarper and let her know whether or not she's okay with them getting married. And time is a ticking. And so they only have about a couple of months left before they actually get married. And she's not going to walk down the aisle with Sarper until she gets Sophia's blessing. So they do like a little surprise trip to Sophia's school, I guess, because Sophia's in a boarding school. And so she meets up with her daughter, and Sarper is with her, but she meets up with her daughter alone first, just to kind of give her a heads up that I'm here with Sarper because I really want you to meet him. And Sophia was totally cool about it. She was like, yeah, I have no problem meeting with him. And they talk about the possibility of Sophia not liking Sarper. And Sophia tells her mom, I'm going to be upfront with you, mom. I'm going to be honest with you. If I have any issues with him, I'm going to tell you. And of course, Shekinah is accepting of that. And Shekinah tells her daughter, yes, by all means, I want you to be honest with me. And if you are not comfortable with it, if you don't like him, if you see something that I don't see of why I shouldn't marry him, I'm not going to marry him. So Shekinah, we're going to hold you to that. Okay, if your daughter expresses any concern with Sarper, we don't want you to try to finesse your way out of your promise in order to keep Sarper, because Shekinah says in the past, she has chosen love over her daughter. So she wants to break that cycle and take her daughter's, which is, I mean, I'm glad that she's doing that, but Sophia is damn near grown and, she's probably going to be, living on her own pretty soon, doing her own thing or going away to college, doing her own thing. So you should have had that mindset, Shekinah, of choosing your daughter over a man a long time ago during her formative years. Now that she's damn near an adult, it's kind of like, what difference does it make if she likes him or not? It's not like, she's like 100% dependent on you. But whatever. So we're going to hold Shekinah to that. And I don't see how that's going to happen if any of this is even real. I don't see how that's even going to happen for her to break up with Sarper if Sophia does not give her blessing. I don't see that happening. Anywho, whatever. Don't really care. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, truly do appreciate it on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.